Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Santa's Workshop. Today's episode, we're going to get this door panel on. I still got a few things to do on this side. Got to finish getting the old panel off through here. And I got to come through and clean up the rust. And I'll probably put some Pour-15 on that just to protect it. And once that dries, we'll get the door panel situated on. But I want to set you up on time lapse and show you how I get rid of this. A lot of people drill those spot welds out. I found out it's a lot easier just to grind them. And I use my cutoff wheel to do so. So I want to set you up and we will get that done. All right, it's about time for the big moment. I ran a grinder over my seams, make sure they were all flat, hit it with some weld through primer. I'd already, done the Pour-15, so it converted what rust it could. Then I, ground it down again, hit it with primer. I ground down these spots and put a weld through primer on it because I got to tack them on once I get the door skin on here. And now the way I've got underneath here, I've got foam mats so the door skin itself does not get compromised. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set you up and we're going to set this frame back on here. Now, while I was in here, what I did, took me some grease and greased these tracks. Sprayed it down with some Freol to loosen up the old grease. So when I get my window back in there, I can just crank it up and it's going to be smooth operation. I figured I might as well do that while I had access to it. No sense in waiting. So, I got the compressor built up. I'm going to get the air hose and blow off everything. And we're going to get this thing set in. Okay. Get my air hose here. Shut that down for a bit. Oh. Tell you what, this is not lightweight stuff. Okay. Okay. Whew. That's like wrestling the car door. Oh, wait. Okay. See, that's right. That's in there right. Just need to pull that up and clamp it. Okay. Now here is where the fun begins. Okay. Remember the tabs I showed you that I did the weld through primer on? I've got that one clamped. And that one's clamped. Now we check our fit. Looks good there. Looks good there. I think this thing's looking nice all over. Now then, the tools of the trade for this. A hammer and a dolly. And what you're going to do, put that dolly right under here like this. And what I want to do is I want to go ahead and fold this down to hold this tight. And there it is. And that is pinched on. Now it's not so tight that as I'm coming from here around, it will shift and let me have the room to manipulate. But I'm just doing that on these corners so we can kind of hold this together. This one here, I'm gonna do a little more about halfway down. There, that's got that held. And now, I'm gonna put you on time lapse and you can watch me go around this whole thing. So zapping it up. All right. I got her pinched on. Tack welded. Welded up here at the top. There, in there, right there. Other side, same way. Now let's flip it over. See how bad I dented it up. I have done a lot of these, but I want you to remember, it's been since 1987 since I have done one. So, that door's a little bit heavier than it was. All right, let's take a look, see how I did. There's a little bit of wavy right in there. A lot of that I can work out with a hammer. That there's the worst part, I think. Got a little bit toasty right there. But the door skin is on. I'm gonna have to knock that back down just a hair. No holes to fill. No studs to grind off. Major dents gone. These small things, we can block most of that out. But that, my friends, is how you put on the door skin. Now then, I want to flip it back over and I want to show you some stuff. I want to get me some more seam sealer. Pretty sure the stuff that I've got is dried up. I want to run it right around through the seam here. I want to grind down the welds, of course. Run the seam sealer right around like they did from the factory. I'm going to get all these stickers off, and then I'm going to prep that with epoxy primer. And once I get all that done, the inside of this thing is going to be ready to paint. I'll need to flip it over and I'll block out and everything on the other side. I'll probably wait until I have it hanging on the car to do that. Yeah, I may do it on the table, I don't know. It depends on what hits me. But the other door, I've got some repair to do to it. And it, for the most part, is straight. We got this area right here I actually fixed that when it was still Randy's car. Where the mirror was is bent. But otherwise, the door itself is straight. It's got just a little rust down here in this corner. I need to get back on the tailgate too, but once I start doing the body work, sanding, putty, or as little putty as I can get by with, things like that, it's going to go fairly quick. But the door skin was one of the big things I had to do, and it is done. Done. So, I'm going to pull me up a chair here. You can see where I did my rust repair on that one. I want to get that primer down. I may get a little bit of oh gosh, it's a polyester plastic that's you put it on, your last thing to get rid of big sand scratches and gouges and stuff. I'll probably put that on down there, sand it down, then prime it again, and I don't think anybody will ever even notice that was repaired. They may notice the difference in the drain holes. That's what I need to do, is drill me another hole down here on this end so it'll drain better. But we can do that too, or I could just leave that plug out. That may be what I do. Okay. Well, that ends up my three-part section on the door skin. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. Would it have been easier to just buy a whole shell? Of course, of course. But, you know, doing stuff like this is a dying art. Not many people do it. Finding the door skin itself was next to impossible. Thank you again, Jason S., for getting it for me. I appreciate you, man, more than you know. But, guys, I got to noticing something on my analytics. More than 50% of you have not subscribed to this channel. Come on, do it. Let's get some subscribers up here. Guys, I'm working my hardest to keep a video a day coming. Honestly, with what I do here in the shop, I do not know if that's going to be feasible. So I want to ask you a question. Do you want quantity or do you want quality? I'm going to do my Tech Tuesdays, and I'm going to try and get a series of Tool Thursdays, just going through the different tools, putting a link in my deal to where you can actually buy them yourself, and I'm just going to do reviews for you. Those are going to be 2 videos a week. Then I can try to do 2 main videos a week. So it'll be 4 videos out of 7 days. I think that would be good. Tell me what you think. The more comments I get, the more interaction I get, the more YouTube likes it. So guys, thank you all so much. Be blessed, and we will see you next time on Santa's Workshop.